Welcome to the Ultra Street Fighter 4 World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Series Showcase. My name is Ultra David.
I'm James Chen, and this is for the Capcom Cup event that is coming up on December 13th at the Warfield in San Francisco. We've been playing Street Fighter all year round to find out who our 16 qualifiers are, with 10 premier qualifying events and also 6 players getting there through just purely ranking points.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is try to, let you know who the players are and give you a little bit of an insight into how they play, things that you can expect to see when Capcom Cup rolls around. We want you to understand a little bit of the backstory and
exactly.
What you're
And again, this is going to be on December 13th. If you can, score VIP tickets to just basically have a chance to go and talk with a lot of the players and hang out at the VIP party.
Yeah.
Or, of course, if you can't make it, it'll be streamed on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters. Make sure you subscribe to Capcom Fighters so you'll get a notification as soon as this starts. Again, that is December 13th on Saturday. It's going to be an epic event. It's going to be quite an epic event.
So like we said, there are 10 people who qualify automatically for Capcom Cup, and the way you do that is by winning major tournaments. We're going to look at Infiltration today.
That's right.
Infiltration is one of the players who qualified that way.
He qualified at the CEO 2014 this year, which is a community effort Orlando in Orlando, Florida. And of course, this is one of the first Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournaments in the year. And Infiltration, who's just been on such a tear in Street Fighter 4 for pretty much since AE, but even a little bit before that as well.
Right, so let's talk about his history a little bit before we sort of delve into the gameplay. He started playing Street Fighter in 2009. He's an 09er, as we like to say, which is crazy because he, in 2010, Evolution 2010, got 3rd place. So he was playing for a year and a half at most, and he got top 3. And then after that, he really turned it on.
Yeah.
In 2012, he was dominant, absolutely dominant. He won EVO. He won a lot of things. We counted it up. There were 27 majors that he attended for Street Fighter 4 AE 2012. And he got to grand finals in 17 of them. That ratio is crazy.
Yeah, and not only that, but that was also the year that Capcom 25th event happened. And that was the year that Cross Tekken was released as well. So Street Fighter 4, Cross Tekken were 2 of the big major events at Capcom 25th. And Infiltration dominated both of them. He won Cross Tekken. He won basically the big prize and the car that came with that. And he also won the Street Fighter 4 event, which was another big chunk of change as well for that event. And not only did he win that one, but he did it by coming from loser's bracket after losing to Daigo 0-3 in winner's bracket.
Right.
He came back in grand finals and beat Daigo 6-0, basically 3-0, 3-0, 2 sets in a row.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the year of Infiltration.
That was one of the most dominant performances that we've seen. Now, since then, he hasn't been quite as dominant, but he's still been really strong. Of course, he won CEO this year. He has other situations, other majors that he won. Other times he's gotten into grand finals or into top 3. So he has, I wouldn't say he's fallen off. I would say that instead other people have started to catch up to where he was in 2012. But he is just as good as he was then.
And the interesting thing to me, as this is a theme that you and I are going to talk a lot about, which is this kind of concept between emotion players, which is a lot of the old school players, which didn't know frame data, like a lot of the old school players weren't, big into frame data, and the science players.
Right.
So Infiltration, I feel like kind of ushered in the era of the science players.
Yeah.
He became really well known for keeping notes on his phone. Like before match, you would always see him sitting there reading it.
Right.
Everyone used to always joke like they wanted to see the notes and see what it said, But I mean, he studies all the setups. He plays Akuma, which is a very setup-heavy character.
Right.
The Akuma Vortex, which was kind of pioneered by Tokido and perfected a lot by Infiltration. It's a very kind of setup-heavy, scientific kind of game that he plays.
And he's very good at sort of starting offense from the defense. You'll see it a lot when he plays that he's not being entirely offensive some of the time. He's sort of playing at a safe range, doing safe things, but he's very good at switching it on exactly when he needs to, and he's very good at making people come to him in a way that is good for him.
Yes, and we're going to see that. We're going to watch the grand final match of CEO, where he goes up against EG's Momochi, another qualifier for this event. But you can see the way that they play. Momochi is kind of a very aggressive kind of ground footsies kind of player, and you can kind of watch Infiltration take that away from Momochi. And so I guess we can just go ahead and just go right into the match from here.
Let's get into it, yeah.
Yep. All right. So here we go. So again, to set the stage of this, Momochi got into winners finals, and Infiltration was coming from losers.
Right.
He had already won the first set.
Right.
And Momochi here is trying out DeCapre, who was a very new character at the time.
Right. The game had just come out.
Mm-hmm. And so not a lot of people really knew how to use her yet or what to expect from her. So I imagine Momochi was trying very hard to catch him off guard. And you can see here, and you'll see this in the first game, Momochi, gets a lot of good offense going, especially with the rapid daggers. But one of the marks of a strong player like Infiltration is losing a first game like this, or even just having trouble in the first game. He's picking up information this whole entire time. He's learning little by little what it is that he's trying to do here.
Right, like we said, this is after the reset. So in the first set, Momochi did not play DeCapre. He was using Ken instead. So this is the first time Infiltration gets to get a look. And you've seen so far, you see what I'm talking about. He's sort of just feeling things out. He's not playing up close. He's trying to find those safe spots, and he's trying to figure out how he can convert standing at those safe spots into good things for him.
Yeah, and so far, he's down a lot in this round, but again, he's just picking up little bits of information here and there.
It already sort of feels like he's stabilized things.
Yeah.
Right? It's, that doesn't work out, which is unfortunate for him. But it feels like he's already slowed things down. It's just the first round.
Mm-hmm. And you can watch too. And one of the things that'll come up here is that a lot of times Momochi's obviously his main offense here is low forward into rapid daggers. And I think Infiltration is just picking up what Momochi is doing after the rapid daggers even, because you'll see that come up later on.
Yeah.
Infiltration takes advantage of that later
on. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So here we go, round two. Again, Infiltration having a little bit of trouble starting in that first round. But you saw how, like you said, Momochi got a ton of damage really fast at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it became a little bit more of a struggle.
So towards the end of the first round, Infiltration tried to jump in, and he noticed that Momochi didn't do anything about it. So towards the start of this round, part of the way that all that big damage was dealt was that he just did a jump in Tatsu.
Yep.
And so he got that information from the first round, and in the second round, it's already helping out.
Yeah, again, a player who studies a lot, and I think that's kind of one of the strategies that Momochi was maybe trying to employ. Maybe he didn't have a lot of DeCapre notes in his phone.
Right, yeah.
But, again, right away, you see a turnaround here in this round. And that might also just be one of those character knowledge things, too, that Infiltration's aware of the fact, wow, look at that, he just spends all of his
a lot of
there.
damn. Well, look at the life lost on Akuma. Akuma has below average life, so that really hurts.
Yeah, but he's probably aware that when DeCapre's not charged, her anti-air is not particularly good.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what those two jumps are about. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. So she can't change her jump arc in the air. It's unlike Cammy.
Right.
She's just stuck once she starts going, and Infiltration knows it. It's a cute little setup afterward.
Yep.
But then, he doesn't press his luck. Now, he saw it wasn't working out, and he backs off to the safer range, even though he's down.
And look at this. He caught up, just like that. Even that super dominating round at the start from Momochi.
That range right there, Momochi has been doing crouching medium kick a lot, and so you see Infiltration not really challenging it that much. He'd rather be behind that or in front of that. Mm-hmm. That didn't end up working out for him, but I like how he's kind of figuring out how to deal with crouching medium kick into rapid dagger.
Yeah. And that's another one of the things that that's gonna be very important for a player like Infiltration, is just not to get nervous whenever you play in a situation like that. Sure, you lost that first round in that kind of a situation, but you know what? You saw him just taking a drink of his water, calm as a cucumber. He had just come back from the first set. I don't think he's really worried about anything, to be honest with you. So
it's first to three.
Yeah.
So if you lose an individual round or even 2 rounds or even a game, you can kind of play with that. You can use that time to get information. He got some good info. He started to understand how to play around the footsies. He's understanding he can jump in. He's understanding that she cannot do anything once she gets into the air. He can anti-air pretty freely.
And again, first round was all Momochi, and immediately he brought back the second round. And then even in the third round, when Momochi started strong, Infiltration brought that round back. No reason to be nervous. And, and you'll see it really manifest itself in here in game 2. So let's take a look at this here. Immediately just gets an uppercut.
And he pushes Momochi out. If you notice, he didn't go in there. He'd rather, I think, have her at a range. That's good for him.
Yeah. And like you said, he's starting to recognize that low forward rapid daggers is obviously the problem. And notice that every time he gets into that range, he either backdashes or jumps. See how he keeps walking back? He's staying right out of that range. And he just does not want to deal with that. So he's taking that option away from DiCaprio. Right there, she dashed in to try to get to make up that distance, and he was all ready for it.
2 consecutive jumps. And there's a third now from Infiltration. So he's really picking it up.
Yeah, and he was even ready for that air drill, which catches a lot of people off guard. Blocked at that time. He got hit by it a couple of times in the first game and not really worried about it anymore.
Right. Oh yeah, I love how he's either playing at this sort of range. Well, okay, that's great reactions. What can you do about that? He's probably not going to throw a fireball in that situation again. But I love how he had been playing outside of crouching medium kick range or just jumping in. You know, he doesn't want to be in that range in between crouching medium kick and DiCaprio. That's not his spot.
Yeah, but that's just a great indicator. Oh, same trick, yeah. But Momochi, it was a little too low in the jump. Momochi had time to get that off.
Yeah, empty jump from Momochi.
Yeah. So, I mean, the key of that is, though, the very first game, we saw Momochi doing low forward into rapid daggers, and we barely saw that in this game. So Infiltration shut that off. Now he's trying to see what Mochi has outside of that. So now that Momochi has taken the round, he's trying to take into account the new options that Momochi's going for and trying to counter those. So you can see how he adapts really well. I mean, we call him a scientist, but I mean, this guy's also super smart at adapting on the fly as well.
You don't dominate the entire world in Street Fighter for a year without having pretty much everything you need.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and see, he's going for that cross-up hurricane a lot. Oh no.
Oh, that's a lucky break. You know, that happens sometimes. So you have to take advantage.
Oh yeah, there's an anti-air there, of course.
Cool. So smart for him, by the way, to walk up that close after Psycho Sting was out there. That thing has forever recovery, and he knows it.
Yeah.
So Infiltration walked in and got the round because of it.
Yeah, a lot of people who might not be aware of how much delay there is would have just went for a sweep.
Right.
You know, and got minimal punish, but he went in there and got the full damage that he needed. So he's tied up this one.
And it's starting to feel for Momochi like Infiltration has taken away that ground game so much that you see Momochi now jumping in a lot more, going for scramble a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, see right
this
there.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Let me go back here for a second just so you can see that again. He has, every time he's blocked the rapid daggers, he's noticed that Momochi has not done as much because she is a little negative.
Right.
So right there,
you see blocked, the patience.
Yeah. Blocked after that one. And so he's building up that information, that warehouse of information.
Oh, you know, typically, if you're a DiCaprio in that situation, you feel like you're safe. Infiltration does one of the few things that he has, or that any character has, really, right there, to really punish that.
Yep. And again, that's just building up information the whole entire fight. And now look at this. With that one read, he has gotten a huge life lead.
And you see how he's dancing around DiCaprio right there. Some jumps at ranges that she really can't deal with, and once he's out of the corner, it's just back to this range where he has total control.
Yeah, and he's just not scared of the scramble.
Right.
You know, Momochi is either going to dive back to where he started from, or all of a sudden he's going to end up doing the dive kick. And that's what you saw right there. He tried the dive kick, and that was a great neutral jump from Infiltration, shutting down that option. So he says, I know you're going for the ground game with rapid daggers. So that's not working. We're going to try scramble. So we started going for the neutral jumps and shut that down.
Yeah, and he also knows Momochi forced into jumping towards more and just regular jump toward. And he's done a great job at shutting that down. Dragon punches, anti-air, ultra even.
Stand fierce.
Yeah, he's really done a good job.
Yeah, okay. So now we're in game 3 here. Remember, this is a 3 out of 5 set. Infiltration took the first one to tie up the set numbers. And now you can see...
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. He's just waiting at that very strong range. And again, and by the way, great for him to not overcommit on the ground. He knows that that little ground range right there, that's not really what he cares about. Okay, he doesn't really care about dominating that. It's only kind of a setup. If he dominates that, then he forces DiCaprio into the air where he can anti-air her, or he forces her to do things that are unsafe that he can take advantage of.
Right. I mean, okay, so Momochi got over that fireball there, but outside of that, a lot of Momochi's movement in the middle of the screen has been posturing. She's not really gaining any ground. She's just scrambling back to where she came from,
There you go.
backdashing, not doing much. And Infiltration knows this. He's not pushing. He's not getting baited into attacking this. And see, he picks his moments properly, and that was right there at a moment of weakness that he was able to get in and get that throw. And even though the life is pretty even right here, I mean, there is evidence that Momochi is starting to feel a little frustrated in this matchup.
It doesn't feel close right now. Can we say that? It feels more like it's Infiltration in control.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that this is coming on the heels of a reset by Infiltration in this grand finals. A nice reaction, and then he just goes for this weird combo.
Yeah, Momochi's point-blank forward dashes have been punished so consistently by Infiltration. He's just looking for it. And that's the whole trick of dancing around in that ground game. You're trying to make them forget about that forward dash option, but Infiltration just doesn't forget. He's so aware of it all the time.
Yeah, it might sound simple, but it's very hard actually to pay attention so well to both the ground and the air approach.
Yeah, see right there. A scramble, back to start, a backdash, a backdash. Momochi really isn't advancing very much, and Infiltration is just not worried.
He's been shut off by Infiltration. Infiltration's controlled the anti-air, controlled the ground.
Yep. And you can see Momochi just kind of, gets a combo there, but for the most part, doesn't seem like he has an idea of what to try at this point.
Speaking of total control, to have the control to do wake up, jump toward out of the corner, knowing that Momochi's too scared to pressure it all, Momochi doesn't want to get involved in any of that, Infiltration took advantage of it and got out of a really bad situation very easily, very simply, I should say. It's not easy to set that kind of fear up.
Right. All right, nice. Yeah, Momochi's been... Oh, geez, what a... So this was just a situation. I'm going to go back a little bit here.
Sure.
This is just a situation here where when Momochi gets Akuma down in a little bit life, Infiltration knows what Momochi wants. He wants to chip him out.
Yes.
So as soon as he does that dive kick that he blocks, Infiltration knows that this is not a very solid block string. So he says, my only chance to win here, if he gets in on me, he's going to try to do rapid daggers. I'm just going to go for that. I'm not sure what Momochi tried to do. You saw an EX move come out there, but yeah.
So you can really see, I think, how Infiltration is shutting down the ground game, the ground approach, shutting down the air approach. He's not letting Momochi dominate the range that we saw at the very start in that first round where Momochi did so well. Since then, Infiltration has figured out how to stay away or how to jump around it.
Literally one round, it was the huge difference right there.
So he's done such a good job that you could see on Momochi's face, and you can see in his gameplay, I think, that he's starting to get a little frustrated. He doesn't really know what to do. Yeah, let's go check this out.
So here,
look at that expression. Momochi on the right.
He's on character select right now. He's really struggling to see who he wants to pick. And that's because even though the rounds are all so close, it, like you said, when you watch it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And Momochi just has that frustration right now in the way he's feeling. And you're going to see here that he's going to go with Juri, a character that he used a couple of times.
Yeah, Juri is definitely a secondary character for him. That's a known quantity. But I don't think that we had seen him use Juri, certainly not in the grand finals yet. I think we had seen it earlier in the tournament, but it's not his default option. He goes to Ken much more. He went to DiCaprio maybe to try to do something that Infiltration hadn't seen before. But Infiltration adapted so quickly, and Infiltration already beat Momochi's Ken in the first set of grand finals, and now he's bringing out the last character.
And one of the immediate things you're going to notice right away is that Infiltration understands that Juri is a very good defensive character. And so immediately he goes in. You can see a huge difference in his gameplay compared to when he was fighting DiCaprio.
Yeah, I love this. So it's obviously it's the character thing, right? He wants to take advantage of what Juri can't do that well. But at the same time, what he's taking advantage of is Momochi himself. he's going in because he understands that Momochi is out of it. You know, Momochi his head's not in the game. You could see it, and Infiltration is so good at picking up on when that's the case. And look at that, the perfect to start it out. I think that's such a great response.
Yeah.
When your opponent seems like he or she's out of it like that, that's when you go in. That's when you really take advantage. That's exactly what he did.
That delay that Momochi had, picking character, was so much more part of this match.
Yes.
You know, than
that
people give it credit
in.
for. Yeah. And Infiltration knows. So, you know, when you smell blood in the water, you go after it. You
Get
know,
in there. Take advantage of uncertainty.
Yep. And so with a perfect starting out, you know Momochi's got to be feeling very nervous now. And you can see he's trying to play this different game. DeCapre, he was trying to get in, and now with Jury, he's just trying to keep him out with this fireball game. And it's just not working for him very well.
Right, so Infiltration's done a great job of playing the matchup differently, not just his opponent's mindset, but the matchup too. He wants to be at a different range. He doesn't just want to be away because Jury has their own space control. No, he wants to pressure.
Yep.
And he sets up shields on the way in. He does all sorts of great stuff to get in there.
There's another one. Oh, jeez. Interesting. Just only hit with one hit, but again, not phase, throw. And this is it.
Inescapable death.
Yeah.
Fireball comes down, and if Jury had done anything, she either would have been hit or passed through. But if she had passed through, Akuma's waiting there to get a dragon punch or whatever for the win.
Yeah, I mean, he could have. Infiltration could have just been blocking, you know.
Yeah,
just
he would have been. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna chill here, and then you're dead no matter what.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, perfect example right there of how quickly Infiltration was able to turn things around, and you see this a lot, especially in the year of Infiltration, which was 2012. Yeah. He felt undefeatable. Like,
it was real tough. You know, and I remember in talking with some of the top players at the time, how kind of downtrodden they seemed about it.
Yeah.
How tough it was.
Yeah, it was such a big deal when Daigo beat him 3-0 in the winners finals, in the winners bracket of the Capcom 25th. And then when Infiltration just countered with a 6-0, like everyone was just like, what happened? You know, and it's that reason is because Infiltration is so good at maximizing what he needs to do and minimizing what it is that you want to do. And when you play him, you feel like he's sucking all the air out of you. Like you just can't breathe. You know what I mean? You have no options.
Yeah, right. I think that's exactly right. That you feel like you're not playing the same game that you were against other people because it feels like a bunch of what you like to do is no longer there. Think about how Momochi felt. He comes into this match with DeCapre thinking, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be scrambling around and I'm going to be it's going to be tough to know where I am, and I'm going to be doing crouching medium kick into rapid daggers as pressure.
Right.
Those are his great idea, and it worked out great at the very start. Yeah. But by the end of that set, those options just weren't there.
Yep.
They were gone.
Yeah, and another thing about Infiltration too, I mean, this guy, like we said, he studies a lot, he has a lot of notes. So I've got to imagine coming into Capcom Cup 2014 that he's going to be studying up on a lot of these guys. A lot of stuff is on the line. We saw what happened at the 25th. Like I said, he won both of those events, walked home with a lot of money, and I'm sure he's going to want to do the same thing this year. So
I think he is a major threat. Yeah, if you give him time to look into all the little ins and outs, little situations, he's somebody who's known for taking advantage of those things in kind of a way that some other people aren't. He is more willing to look into character counter picks than a lot of people are. He's more willing to look into sort of unconventional ideas than a lot of people are. I mean, think about the dash into Demon.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how many other Akuma players would have done that, for example.
Yeah. And the other tricky thing you just mentioned was the counter characters. Yeah. Like, even though he's known for Akuma, he's got a pocket Chun-Li, he's got a pocket Hakan. He's been playing, like, towards the end of last year, I believe it was the beginning of this year, he just started branching off into tons of characters, just kind of messing around a little bit, it seemed like.
If you recall, he won SoCal Regionals, or he got second in SoCal Regionals with Chun at the end.
Before Ultra.
When
Chun was still considered weak, you know, so, yeah.
Right.
But, yeah, so I expect him to do really well at Capcom Cup. It's going to be super exciting to see how this plays out. So, yeah, again, December 13th, the Warfield in San Francisco, Twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters. Make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications when it starts. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and please check us out at our own channel, which is youtube.com/UltraChenTV or twitch.tv/UltraChenTV, where we do a lot of this same sort of stuff. You know, we analyze videos in this game and others. We talk about news a lot. We talk about sort of what's going on in the fighting game community.
Yeah, and we try to cater both to beginners and to higher level players, you know, in separate segments and separate shows and stuff like that. So
that's right. All right, thanks for joining us. See you at Capcom Cup.
All right.